You live conversation with my Finnish friend Senja Rummukainen, an extraordinary young musician who would now join us. A second.
Hi.
Hello, greetings
Nice
from
to
St.
see you.
Petersburg. Yes,
Oh,
great
greetings
to
from
see you.
Helsinki. You too.
Yes, very close, but now separated. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be connected through these conversations.
Yeah.
And you have achieved so much. I have many things to ask you about, and I have witnessed them partly. But let's start with your studies. We know all that Finland is known for its wonderful education for young musicians. So could you describe to us how it happened? I also saw that you were supported by many foundations. So how did it happen? How did you decide what steps to take in your studies?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So first I must have been quite young when I went to the music kindergarten or something like that before going to the school, and there we played we didn't really play anything, but we just sang, and of course these kind of some instruments we tried. And then there was this new school called the East Helsinki Music Institute, which was quite new back then, 2001 when I went there. We were the third degree that we started there when we were young, like 7 years old, the first class in school. And it was like the same time music school and same time normal school. So we had like music every day there. We had like cello group every day for maybe 1 hour or something. And then of course we met with the teacher, of course, also like twice a week, just normal lessons, like private lessons. And then we had orchestra from a really young age, and it was really a big thing for me. The string orchestra called Helsinki Strings. It was founded by Gesa and Csaba Silvai. They are Hungarian pedagogues and really, really famous all around the world. And they created this music school.
So what you're saying that you didn't choose the cello, but it was chosen for you?
No, I chose it from, there were many instruments where I could choose. Yeah. So I chose it. I remember it must have been that I heard some instruments and I just loved the sound of the cello more than the others. So I guess it was that easy for me.
So the school was always the combination of normal
Yeah.
lessons with the music lessons, right?
Yeah, yes. And we had like theory also like every day since we were kids. So it was kind of really natural back then. And of course, when we got older, it was already quite serious then. And Gesa Silva was the conductor of the Helsinki Strings, and we had like tours in Europe and everything. So we really had this music making together since really young age, and I think that also affected a lot to me. And I also know a lot of many friends of mine who.
So you played in the orchestra from the very young age too, right?
Yes, like 8 years old or
But
something.
you are the one within my circle of friends who successfully develops both her solo career, right, as a performer in competitions, and an orchestral career. How do you do this? Do you train differently for your solo things, appearances, and for your positions, for your work in orchestra and so on?
Yes, of course it is different, and at some point you have to realize like what to do differently and what are the important things when play as a soloist, and what are the important things in orchestra, or if you're a principal cello, like what are the tasks you have to do. So of course nowadays, of course, professional orchestra is also different thing, and that I was experiencing here in Helsinki in the Helsinki Philhamonic, where I'm now having a job there. And but of course, I mean, it was an important thing that I got the education also from the orchestral education from a really young age, and I think that was the important thing for me, to how to play together with people. And it wasn't only about me, but it was really about also doing together, but at the same time, of course, really hardworking, like for myself and with the teacher, of course. Yeah.
The cello is known to be almost like a human. Could you describe your relationship with your cello? I see that you're playing a Stefano Scarampella instrument alone to you by Jorma Panula, of all people, yeah?
Yes.
So, so could you describe how do you feel about your cello? Is it your dearest friend? Is it a person? Do you talk to it?
Well, of course, it's my dear friend. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with it, and now with this particular cello for almost 4 years. And I was really lucky to get it when I got it 4 years ago, because it was instantly that I felt the connection with it, and I fell in love with it instantly. And of course, trying to still find some new things, but I think it was quite from the start. I felt like, okay, this is the one I've been like looking for, and now I'm really happy to have the chance to still play with it, and I hope it still continues for
what is
years.
the importance in terms of sound? What is important for cello? What do you search for in terms of good sound, depending on you and on the instrument as it is? What are the important qualities?
Yes, of course, the sound is I think, one of the really most important things when you learn it, and that I have to say I really learned from my teacher when I went to the youth department of Sibelius Academy after the Music Institute, and there was Professor Marko Ylönen, who is a great Finnish cellist, and I was really lucky to go there to his class, and he has this really particular way to play and to teach sound, and I think it was really important thing for me as a 14-year-old young cellist to really get to know how to produce a big but warm sound with lots of expression, and also how to do it my own sound and not only copy his. But he really, I think he was the main influence on that, and from that time the sound has been the most important thing. And now it's just like getting to know more colors all the time, and it's really, you can do it forever to find new ways to play with your personal sound, but also always try to attach the music.
At which point do you think you discovered your personal sound? Is it at the Sibelius Academy, or later, or when you started a professional career in the orchestra?
Yeah, of course. I mean, maybe it was somewhere in the Sibelius Academy because when you studied with Marko Ylönen, you had to have this strong personality, otherwise he would get really mad. So I had to kind of play as I played, like, and of course practice a lot, and then play really like how you feel, and not just like something. It's hard to explain, but it was really tough somehow. He was really like consistent with it, and I think there it came a little by little. And of course now, like when I went to Berlin, it has been developed since, because I mean I got so many other inspirations from like my now professor Jens Petter Mainz there in Berlin. So it's all the time going forward and looking at some new
actually
things.
you seem to be the one who studies always. You from Helsinki you went to Berlin, right? And also no?
Yeah. Actually, there was in between. There was also like Essen and Oslo.
Yes. And you were an exchange student in Norway. and then you participated in many competitions. As I understand, can you explain to me what is the role of competitions in the career? Are you joining them to boost, to make yourself known, or is it part of your education, almost like trying yourself, like your courage, your capacity to perform for a big number of people, and so on?
Yes, I think it's all of those things somehow to combine. And it's also a personal development at the same time. Like it's really for a young musician to practice such a huge repertoire for one thing. It's a really good way to somehow how to handle. You see how you handle it, and it's a really good way to get to perform and also get this somehow, I don't know, yeah, how to perform, because in the end it's what it is. I mean, as a musician you perform, so you have to somehow get comfortable with that. And I think for that also competitions are very good way to somehow develop for your personal development. And of course, career-wise, if you succeed, it can be a really big thing.
Did you have the same repertoire for every competition you entered, or do you change it and prepare a new one for each competition?
Yeah, usually there are always some different things, but of course you can also choose something you feel comfortable and you feel that okay, this is what I'm good at, so you should definitely take it to the competition. But for some competitions you can choose more program for your own, and for some competitions there are more like strict rules what to play. And yeah, but of course there are some differences, but a lot of same things too. I mean, it's yeah.
Well, we'll go to Tchaikovsky later, but could you describe other highlights? Like you won the first prize at Turku cello competition and was a finalist in Philhamonic
So yeah.
competition. So could you describe these moments? They were you were like what, like 21 then, yeah?
Yeah, I was like, when was the Turku competition? That was a really big thing for me. That time, I think it was my first competition at all, and of course, I didn't like really wait anything from that, so it was a big thing for me to get the first prize. And because of that, it's in Finland, it's really like you get a lot of nice concerts and you get a lot of opportunities that I never had before. And so it was really important to learn how to somehow what it would be like to be a professional musician and go to play with different orchestras, different pieces, learn much faster than before. And so it was, I must say, Turku was really at the time a really big thing for me, and it gave a lot of opportunities. And I think I learned a lot also after that, not only in the competition but
Which
afterwards.
concert did you play when you had to play the concerto?
There was also Dvorak, so Dvorak always was the one for me. I think it's really.
How do you psychologically prepare when you know that you are high, you are in the finals already, and and you will play with the orchestra, and the jury and the audience will look at you. How do you prepare for these moments?
Well, I mean, of course you have to prepare well. That's where, of course, where it comes from. The to be as comfortable as possible in this kind of pressured situation. Of course, you have to be well prepared. And I don't know, actually. I've thought about it a lot, like how to do it. And when I'm thinking back now to the like Tchaikovsky, for example, I really feel like, oh no, how did I manage to do it? But somehow in the situation, you just go for it. If it happens, you just like you don't have time to think. Like after Tchaikovsky first round, I really there was like 24 hours to the next round, so it was not so much time to stress about it. So it's just like, okay, let's go to sleep and let's wake up and let's go to play. So
But can I ask, you studied with one of the juries of the Tchaikovsky competition. Truls Merck was
Yeah.
part of the jury, and you also studied with him, right?
Yeah.
How did it feel? I mean, and maybe can ask, what did he teach you personally as a mentor? He is a very famous cellist himself, and could you describe him in your career?
Yes, sure. So it was like quite a short time. I think it was too short time studying with him, but great time. And he's such a nice person, very humble person, and he really just have this great atmosphere, and he's always trying to search for things. And then I play something, and he feels it in the room, and somehow I don't know, it's difficult to explain, but it's very inspirational, definitely. And it's nice that we got to see each other also after the when I left Oslo, because he's really great guy, and he has been really also supporting me a lot. So I was lucky to be there, and yeah, he's a great musician.
Are you an intuitive student, or do you have to be explained things? How does the teacher transfer the information to a student? By example, by showing things, or by explaining something?
Yes, so it of course it depends on the situation, but my teachers always have been great cellists, so it has been, I think, a really big thing that they have been showing. And still, like, I love it in the lesson when my teacher shows something, and I think it's sometimes easier to understand from that. But also, of course, some things you just have to explain or ask the student, like, or try to get them realize, or if they are realizing it, maybe ask, like, how do you think about this, or what do you think about this, and how would you do this, and why, because you always have to somehow explain why you are doing something, and then of course do it spontaneously afterwards. But so it's
So
kind of a
basically,
mixture.
on the lesson, you both sit with your cellos in front of each other, right?
Yeah, it's usually like that. Yeah, I
Okay.
would say
And
so.
and how do you structure your own routine of say everyday preparation on cello? Is it 5 hours every day, or do you play more intensively for a certain competition?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you practice?
Yes, it depends on the situation, of course. I mean, of course, it's many hours a day usually, and when like five hours would be good. When if I go to a competition in, I don't know, 1 month or something, maybe 5 hours or more would be the time. And if of course if you have concerts too, you have to prepare well, but it depends a lot. And I think for me it changed. I know maybe there are some more routined musicians than I am. Of course, it's like every day you have to some kind of feel your instrument. But but I think for me it depends. If you have something big coming up, then it needs more time. And if you have more time to relax, it's also good to not to just play, but maybe go through the note, like without cello or something, and think about it, and also do other things. I also like to do other things. I cannot just play and play the whole day. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
never for me, but maybe for some other it works. I
And
mean, we
and
are so
and
different.
and you're also part of the chamber music, yes? You do a lot of chamber music, yes, with
Yes, yeah.
people. So for this, do you then have to assemble together somewhere? How do people prepare for chamber recitals, or something like this?
Yes, so it's different thing when you have like a quartet or something that you play together like many times. And like I had the string quartet for 7 years, And of course, that's very different working than when you go to a festival and you meet there and you have a few rehearsals and then you perform the piece. So it really depends. But I must say, when you have a string quartet, you have to rehearse a lot together to get somehow the intonation good and the dynamics, I mean, together, and everything must be so together. But maybe when you play something in a festival, then you just maybe play more like as a, you see there how it goes. Usually it's easier when the musicians feel really the same same, I don't know how to say,
vibration.
Yeah, somehow it's easier, of course, then. And if it's not working, then you work some details. But usually it's maybe better to just play as much as possible when you go to a festival and you don't really know each other so well yet. Maybe you met somewhere, but still you don't have so much time. So it's maybe just good to play through a bit and maybe check a few things if there's a problem. But usually just by playing it comes quite naturally, I think.
I have a small question from somebody here. Wait, I'll just see. Sami Makela asks you, can you give advice for a young cellist? How to practice, probably, yeah?
Sure. So I would say for young cellist, I'm trying to think as me as a young cellist, maybe nowadays young cellist could do better. So of course, I mean, concentration is really, you don't have to do so much if you are like good concentrated. Like if you do like, okay, I'm practicing 1 hour today, and then choose the pieces quite I don't know, logically, that I do 15 minutes of this, really like maybe slowly. Of course, always it's good to play slowly if it's something fast. And I would also say this to focus on the sound, I think, quite much, even from the young age, because I think it's a good thing when you become older that you already have it, and then you can change it, and then you can really how to use your bow. So if for young cellists, I would focus more on the right hand maybe, and of course do some exercise for the left hand, like some just
whom I was thinking, now you're giving advice, but I was thinking, who are your ideal figures in the current world of cellists that you watch, maybe for your biggest inspiration? And
yeah, sure. So of course my teacher, yes, Peter Mainz, and my old teachers, because I really love all my teachers who I studied with. And then also I really admire, of course, Yo-Yo Ma. He's a great master, I think. And Jean Keras is a really, really interesting musician. And I love his playing so much. So I really, really love his playing so much. But there are many. I mean, there are always some piece you listen by some musician and the next piece you listen by, because I mean everyone are so good, but of course there are some few names that I really look up to, and many more, of course.
So young people should probably do the same, like choose their sound from people they listen to, right?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Idols are always important, especially for younger people. So I really, it was important thing to listen others, and then you maybe take something from something and then some other things from some other. So then you mix up somehow your own thing, but you have to have some kind of idea. What would you like to hear in your own playing, and what do you like? Do I like to play, I don't know, beautifully and or really with a big sound or not so big sound? I mean, you just have to find these things, and finding these, I think it's good to have some idols. Yeah.
Well, let's discuss the big event, the Tchaikovsky competition.
Yeah.
I remember you sent me a message just kind of almost like, well, yes, I think I'll be in St. Petersburg. I'm participating in this competition. I kind of thought, which
Yeah.
competition? And then I realized which competition.
Oh yeah.
So, could you could you tell us how you prepared to it, and what repertoire you chose, and whether your colleagues had the same things, or did you have something unique to play? And then how did you feel at the final and then playing with Maestro Gergiev?
Sure. So, of course, I mean, applying for the competition is a really big thing for itself. You have to make this really good quality video. You have to find someone to record it and someone to film it and someone to play with you. Of course, the pianist is really important, and then you have to practice well. And of course, it's a long day when you, or even I don't know, more days. It could be, and find some nice place to also play, because when there is a video recording, it's maybe sometimes hard to show who you are just by video, because maybe something is missing when you do it by video. It's not a live situation, so you really have to do it really well, like almost over well, so it also hurts in the video. So that was a big thing, and I was also very happy to get there. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. So
if they invite you, do they give you the hotel, or is it
yeah,
like
actually, yes, they actually, if you go there, they give you everything. So it's really, it was really nice also. I think we all felt very welcome there, because at least what I felt was that when you went there, they really organized everything for you, and it was really nice experience, and I was looking forward to it, because of course it's such a big thing for cellist to go there, and for me also, because I have been looking for the videos from the previous times, and I was like looking really up to the people who are there, like, oh really, they really do it? I mean, I really didn't believe that I could do it somehow, but when I went there, I was just like, okay, well, I have to go there. Yeah.
What were the requirements for the rounds? For the first one, for the second one, for the third?
Yes, so first round we have to play, of course, Pezzo Capriccioso by Tchaikovsky, and then Piatti Caprice, you could choose some of them, and I chose the third one. And then there was like 2 movements of Bach. Bach, you could choose from any suite you want, actually. I had the third one, and then
a free choice, yeah?
Yeah, and then there was free choice of, there was some time that you had, there was some time limit. So I chose Boccherini, because I thought that's maybe a little bit different period than the other music. And then I also chose the piece that you know very well too, the Esa-Pekka Salonen. Yeah, because I thought that maybe some music of our time is really good to play. And I think this piece is originally written for competition, actually. So it has really many kind of techniques, and I think it's really interesting piece, and I'm sure that was a good thing to do it there, because I think everyone maybe appreciated it, and I think that was the thing that was in people's minds, that okay, you played this piece, and this is really nice piece. And also the other cellist, some were asking like, oh, this was a really great piece, what was it? And I think that was a good choice, definitely, and I'm happy I did it there. And then was the second one. What was there? It was probably quite free to choose. You could choose quite freely.
And then in the end, you all had to play the full concerto with the orchestra, right, for the final?
Yes. So Rococo Variations was the, like, everyone had to play it, and then you can choose any concerto you want. So I chose the Dvorak because I love it as a piece. I think it's a great big work, but it's really also very sensitive, and not only not only just playing hard and playing loud, but also very sensitive. And I really love the music in that. And also I feel good when I play it, and I feel it's good piece for me too. So there were many things why I chose that concerto, but it has been always really close to my heart.
So how did you feel playing with Gergiev? Did he speak to people?
Yeah,
nice.
he was actually really nice. We met briefly before the concert. I played Rococo variations there, so that's a piece that I'm sure he did many times before. So we met like maybe 20 minutes before the concert, and we didn't quite play it through, but almost through actually. And then was the concert, and everything. Well, he was really good with the balance. I think that was his most what he was interested about, and I think it's great because then you don't have to worry about that, but you can just play how you feel. And of course, he's a great musician. I really admire his previous works and everything. So it was like kind of big thing for me, of course. And I only heard it like maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 days before the concert, and I was like, oh no, I have to go back to practice because I was having a little bit of holiday after the competition. So it was a big thing, of course, and he was really nice. He was really encouraging and very friendly. I mean, only have good memories. So yeah, great experience.
Well, but you by that time had the position in Helsinki Philharmonic. So in a way, you didn't need this competition to boost your career. But how did it influence your career afterwards?
I think it has influenced definitely. I think there are more solo concerts and some chamber music. Of course, I already had something before, and it was great. But still, I think it's even more and bigger things, and I'm really looking forward to all that are coming, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see when it will start again, but I mean, I think it's really influenced, and of course, how you play the next things that also tells you maybe if it goes well, maybe you get a new invitation or something, or if not, maybe not. So
do you feel
you never know.
Do you feel that you have been a victim of star disease? Like, did fame go to your head, or
I don't think so. No.
did you give autographs to fans afterwards?
I mean, it was really. I mean, when I was in the competition, it was really a big support of people, even people from who I didn't know before. So that was kind of the really big thing for me, that I didn't know that there are people who are really listening from another another part of the world, and they are sending me messages that yeah, and really like encouraging. So I think it was really nice that actually I didn't look forward to that, but it came, and I was really happy about it, but of course very humble about it, because I really didn't know that there would be so many nice people who are encouraging, like people they never actually met. So I'm really happy about it. Yeah.
Well, it has the coverage on Medici TV, so of course maybe thousands of people watch it, especially finals. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And could you describe your work at Helsinki Philharmonic? Firstly, could you describe Susanna Malki, its head, how it feels to work with her, what's her style, and maybe your highlights with the visiting conductors?
Yes, sure. So Susanna, I mean, she's having a great career indeed, and I think we're very lucky to have her in the Helsinki Philharmonic, and I think she has done a lot of good things for the orchestra, and she's really strict, and she really, uh, we have to really play like need for perfection. I don't know how to call, but she's really like looking forward to the perfection, and
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's a great that she has done a lot of great things for the orchestra, and also having great tours with. I mean, I never actually somehow always when there was a tour, I had something there, but I mean, I know that they have been in with great tours, having like in Vienna, and now they were supposed to go to some famous festivals, but of course now they are maybe cancelled. So maybe hopefully later. But I mean, I think she's really great and a nice person. So yeah, I'm always happy to work with
Mm-hmm.
her.
And can I ask your position of second principal cellist?
Yeah,
It means that you are always exchanging your place with somebody else? Are you rotating or?
yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of we have like two first principals there and two second principals. So somehow um, I really know I really don't know how to explain it myself either, but okay. The last year it was also I was there doing my job before the going to the competition, so there was really no not another solo cello at the time, so we really worked a lot also as a principal. So it was also great. I mean, teach for me to how to be a principal cello in a professional orchestra, because that's actually a really requiring job that you
Yeah.
have to somehow find yourself how to do it. There are some certain things you should know and you should do and you should prepare, but somehow you have to still make it
Actually,
natural.
as a
Mm.
principal cello, are you subordinated to the concertmaster or directly to the conductor?
I think both, yeah. It's really important to connect with those people
Mm-hmm.
and then like somehow get it to the back, because it's sometimes difficult to hear from the when the more back you go in the orchestra, it's more difficult to hear. So it's really important that someone is also showing and leading some phrases or where to how to play together. So
Mm-hmm.
so it's important to be this strong uh, leader, and I think I learned a lot. I mean, I wasn't always very strong, especially when I went to the first time. I was really, of course, well prepared, but I was really nervous. I
Mm-hmm.
never was so nervous than going to the first rehearsal, but actually it was really good experience, and when you get to do it more, it starts to be easier and easier.
Mm-hmm.
But always, of course, you have to know that piece so well, and even better, I would say, than maybe if you are in the back, because you have to be sure and you have to show the others also, and you have to have the time to connect with other people and not only stare the notes, but you have to also see what the conductors wants, and maybe not only what they like say, or but you really have to read the hands quite. You should see through it somehow. It's
But
and
but
that's
I was
mm,
always wondering if you are set on the other side from the sections of violence, how do you see what the concertmaster is doing? Because he is like blocked from you or she by the conductor, actually, no?
yeah. Well, usually it depends, of course, where the conductor wants to be, but usually there is a connection actually, and it's not like totally blocked, and the conductor also is moving, so it's not all the time the same place. So it's really easy to actually connect with the
Mm-hmm.
first violinist, and of course also second violinist, like principals or the first desk, and also viola first desk. You have to also connect with all
Mm-hmm.
those people, and
Mm-hmm.
also somehow the double basses, because cellos and basses are playing so much together, and that's maybe the more difficult because basses are a little
Yes.
bit back, and
Uh-huh.
actually a lot of back, so you cannot really see each other when playing, so you have to somehow, and that's also what the first cello has to also kind of lead the basses. Even the basses
Mm-hmm.
should maybe play even first, because they are the somehow the bottom of
How
the
do you use the
orchestra.
bases? how do you lead the basses? Do you just kind of show them like this?
Well, I think you just have to play very clear. And
Mhm,
some bigger things, maybe if you have some pizzicato together or something,
mhm,
you have to
mhm.
show it really clear. So you play together, and it's not always easy, but I think the more you do it somehow, the more you get to know each other and the groups and everything. And of course, if there are some problematic parts, you can tell that okay, there we are laying back, or so let's go forward, or other way around or something. But if there are
And,
some problems, you have to say about it. Yeah.
mhm. And what were your highlights with the guest conductors with Helsinki Philharmonic?
Yeah, wait, let me think about it. They have been quite nice. Of course, I mean, there are a lot of Finnish maestros that are great. They're always
Mhm,
always great. Like, yeah, Sakari Oramo and
mhm.
Jukka-Pekka Saraste, and of course Klaus Mäkelä, and then maybe some others. I would say I really remember the week that it was few years back that Mirga Gratsinite
Mm,
Tila came to conduct
mhm.
Bruckner, and I really was so impressed about that week. I remember it was already like maybe 4 years ago, but I think the concert had really something special. At,
Actually, I'm very interested. What is she like? Is she uh, a very energetic woman, or how does she work with musicians?
I remember that she was very energetic, very natural, and very friendly.
Hmm.
I remember, but she was really knowing what she wanted, but somehow also very humble and friendly. So it was really, I really liked that week a lot,
Hmm.
and I know that she's doing great. So hope she comes back sometime. I mean,
Hmm.
I really remember that week well, and also what was the other I had to mention? Oh no, I just had something in
Okay, well,
my mind, but maybe
maybe
it will
later,
come
yeah.
back. But of course there are many. But
Hmm.
if I remember it, I will
And,
tell you later.
can I ask, does a musician of your level has time for life, for, I don't know, books, traveling? How do you build your life and work balance?
Yes, well, that's always a good question, but I think there is always time if you wanna do it. Uh, I mean, if you are interested in something, or there are some important things in your life, also other important things, you make it happen. So I never felt that playing the cello would have somehow. Of course, sometimes you have to do sacrifices, but it's not. I think for me, it never was like a real big thing to sacrifice something. I mean,
Hmm.
but I think nowadays I'm better like when I practice, and when I'm not practicing, then I do something totally else, like enjoying the people in my life, or doing something other. Yeah, like reading books or something. So
Do you take cello on your vacations or on your trips with you?
it depends on a trip. If it's totally a vacation, like if I go like with my boyfriend or something for one
Hmm.
week vacation, then I don't take it, because usually if there is a vacation, then you see that okay, there's nothing really important coming up, so it's
Hmm.
I can leave the cello. But of course, it's quite rare times that you can do that. Usually, you have to always take it with you,
Hmm.
and even play a bit, even if you don't practice for 6 hours every day, but you have it there and you can every time touch it a bit. So
Well, I guess it's easy now to have
mhm.
the daily routine of practice. How do you build your life in the quarantine? Do you have 5 hours, 6 hours of practice every day?
Well, actually, not so much. Actually, I'm being honest, and I mean now I had the motivation back again, like just for some time. But really, in the beginning, it was really difficult actually to find it because suddenly in one night all the things are cancelled, and you're like waking up the next morning. I even had a like last concert on the day that everything was canceling, and it was still the last concert, and we all felt it, and the audience also felt it. It was in the
Which
Sibelius
which day
Academy.
was it? Is it?
It was 12th of March.
12th March.
Yeah, and that was maybe the last concert, at least here in Finland. I mean, or I think also other places, but it was really, and I was also going to the next place already next on the same night, but then it was cancelled the same night when I was going to the airport. So it was really like one night suddenly everything goes away, and suddenly you realize, okay, this is a really, I mean, we saw that coming, but we didn't maybe see that coming so fast, like just one day and everything. Of course, you read news, and things were going worse and worse all the time. So of course, people were thinking like, what's gonna happen? But still, I mean, the concerts were happening, but suddenly one night and almost everything cancelled.
So what you're saying, the shock was so big that you had to psychologically recover before you could practice again, right?
Well, yeah, well, I had to do it. I had some, maybe first week I couldn't even like touch the cell. Of course, the next morning I was like going to the cello, like, okay, let's practice. But then I remembered that what am I actually practicing? Because the things that I was supposed to practice are not happening. So I was just like, okay, let's start from the beginning. Like, what didn't I learn yet, and what do I want to play, and what should I play maybe in 1 or 2 years or something. So maybe I can start with those things first and see then where it goes. But now I got it back little by little, and now I'm going strong.
Are you connecting with the orchestra through Zoom? You know, I've seen these big
Mm.
Zoom things when the orchestras are trying to play things online. Is HPO doing something like this?
Well, I didn't see that kind of thing yet, maybe. I'm not sure actually, because now I'm actually off for a study break from the orchestra, so I don't actually, I haven't been there this year at all, but of course I follow them really regularly, and I know that maybe they didn't do this thing yet, at least, but they are having a chamber music concert like every 2 weeks, which are broadcasted, and they are played once, one movement of Bach in the quite beginning of this crisis, but it's good that they are still having these small group concerts, of course with bigger uh, uh, space between the players, but I mean,
How do you feel? I mean, when hopefully it is over, what are the things that you're looking forward to? What could be your first concerts, maybe a start of next season?
yes, maybe, I don't know, it's difficult to say because of course, I mean, maybe the summer things won't happen. I don't know, but it's difficult to say because we have to follow the situation somehow. So I don't know. You have to just. I think now just is it time to see what you wanna learn if you have time, and of course stay healthy as possible. That's the most important thing for everyone at the
J-
moment.
yeah.
But of course, while being home, it gives you time to think like, what do I do with this all this time? And you have to go forward and actually do what you feel like doing, and not only what you have to do, but really like do what I would like to do now, because it's such
And
a stressful time.
and and what are things that after some kind of stress you decided that you really want to do now?
Yeah, well, I decided to learn some new repertoire that I never had the chance to play, and I don't know even if I'm ever gonna play it. But I mean, I have some pieces in mind that I I love, and I think that now is the time to work on those things. Maybe, I mean, you never know, but you have to now play the music you love.
Do you watch all these free streams that are available, like operas, concerts, all the free things from the world? Do you watch them?
Well, sometimes, but not all the time. But I mean, if there's some interesting things that you can see, I mean, of course, but not all the time. But of course, I mean, of course, quite often, if there's an interesting concert or something, that's the only way to listen to it now. And also some old performances that has already been. I mean, it's nice that there are actually many concerts available now, because it's the only possibility.
What can you advise to our friends or to people who watch it? What is the activity that has boosted your spirits most in these times? Or maybe a person, or maybe the connection with someone. What would you recommend to do on the daily basis to keep optimistic?
Well, I mean, for me, it was just like I mean, we live with my boyfriend here, so now we have the time together that we usually don't have so much. So that's of course the best part of it. And of course, try to find the things that you like. I mean, now I try to, for me, it's now when I got my motivation back, I try to learn some nice new pieces, as I said, and also try to find some good books that I want to read. And I think now is the time for that kind of relaxed things. You don't have to be doing so much all the time. Just take your time and do what feels like nice things to do, because I mean, I think we only can be stay healthy, and that's the most important thing.
Yes. Could you describe, if you go out at all, could you briefly describe the situation in Helsinki as compared to other cities in the world?
Yes, I mean, it's weird because I mean, in Helsinki, I think it was even like, because now when like yesterday, we were like, okay, let's go for a walk. And actually during daytime, there are actually many people walking around in the city, and the streets are not so big, so it's really stressful to go there, because you try to escape everyone and it's not even possible. So if you go for a walk, we do it now in the evenings, because then it's no people, but you need some fresh air, of course. But now I think people are getting back somehow, not back in the game, because everything is still closed almost. I mean, the shops are open, but all restaurants and these kind of things, of course, closed. But otherwise, I think people are enjoying the sun and everything. I hope that it's not too risky that there are too many people outside. Of course, it's really important to go outside, because that's the only thing you can still do. There's no you can go outside, and it's not a bad thing. But
we have the same kind of, we were asked, like, it's more strict, like you're supposed to have self-isolation and police is patrolling the parks, but you know, I went to my local park and I didn't see any police, so
okay, yeah.
So nobody is certain what to expect, and I think people also trying to do some walks, but kind of if you take the what the TV says strictly, you're supposed to stay at home like full time.
Yeah.
But I do go out actually.
I mean, I would go out, but of course be very secure that you are not too close to any people. But I think it's good that you have the possibility to go outside and enjoy the fresh air, because that's also very important for the mind, to go outside and not just be here. At least if it's really long time. I think.
Actually,
Yeah.
we also we have the differences, but because St. Petersburg is not Moscow, so
Yeah.
each region in Russia has its own rules, and Moscow has the
Okay.
strictest ones.
Oh,
So
really?
we are
Okay.
maybe the second one after Moscow, maybe to get the same rules, but
Yeah.
we are now not on the same strict rules as Moscow, and
Okay.
every big region in Russia has the right to decide what kind of quarantine they take. So basically, it's now
Okay.
90 different rules for 90
Okay.
different parts of Russia, which is very strange, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
And I can't go south. We have a flat in the south near the sea, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to get there because in order
Yes.
to get to a region, you have to live there, and they might
Yeah.
now not take people from big cities
Yes.
with the fear that they are more contaminated than the small
I
ones.
understand. Yeah.
So it has become very varied here, and
Yeah.
I don't feel the courage to go, like to take the train for a day to go
No.
somewhere.
Here actually there was also that the Helsinki area and the what is it called in English? Well, the lower part of Finland, it's
Mhm.
like kind of closed because there were the most the most amount of virus, so it was closed for maybe a few weeks. But I think now the borders opened again, so now it's
Mhm.
all again. So now it's
Mhm.
already possible to travel again, but I'm sure that people are not still the traveling part. People are really not traveling, and I think that's
Mhm.
a good thing, at least for
Mhm.
a moment. That staying home as much as possible, of course. That's yeah.
Well, I wish to you, to everybody of your friends and relatives to keep their minds and spirits in good,
Thank you.
like up and optimistic. It's hard for
Yeah.
me also,
Yeah.
I think I will start to write something because
Yes.
for me, I don't have an instrument, and
Yeah.
the only thing it's maybe to write
Of course. Yeah.
something. But yeah, we have to find some long-term activities for the spirit. And
Yeah.
the paradox thing is that I have the books from the library. And
Oh.
like I wonder when they open, how will I explain that I can't get these books back?
Yeah. Of course.
So
Oh.
that's a very strange situation.
Yeah. Oh. But I also
So
hope all the best for you and your family, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I wish we like let's wish that we see each other after
Yes.
HPO concert in September. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
take care. And it was nice
You
to talk to
too.
you. And
Really nice.
greetings
Thank you.
from St. Petersburg.
Yes.
And
Greetings from Helsinki.
yes, and see you soon.
See you soon.
Sometimes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.